Hi there, Julie Tam, managing broker of LYN Realty in Houston, and hello from Lake Conroe in Montgomery, Texas. It is beautiful today. It is overcast, but you know what? That means it's not too hot, so I'm not going to be sweating too much here in the Houston area. We own and also manage homes up here, both for investment rental purposes and also for our own enjoyment. And so today I'm actually talking to you about investment properties, investing in real estate, and also specifically, should you allow a pet at your property? So I'm going to tell you a story, leaving details and names out of it for privacy, about clients that we have, tenants involved in the situation to illustrate the points that I want to make today. I want to first start with saying that the real estate investment business should be just that, a business. So emotions and personal things should not get in the way, because otherwise you'll be making poor business decisions that will lead to not a very good return on investment. So it should just be about the bottom line. Of course, we want our morals and integrity and all of that to stick. But some people have principles and certain ideas that don't actually work so well. They're not even morally based. They just don't work so well with the investing business. Okay, so here's the deal. We have a rental property that has been occupied by the latest tenant here. We've managed it for many years, but the latest tenant has occupied this rental property for several years now. And the owner, the landlord that we manage for, wants to sell this property just to free up some capital. And so he has asked us first to present it to our existing landlord clients, because we don't want to have the tenant move. He also has a heart for the tenant, doesn't want to have him have to move out, us to list it on MLS, risk an owner occupant purchasing it and needing to ask the tenant to move. And so we went ahead and presented to our investors first. We've had a bit of interest from a few different investors, and I've shown the property as well. And so one particular investor has this idea that he wants to ask the tenant to move out so that he can remodel the property and make it just tip top and lease it out again. The tenant also has a dog. This interested potential investor isn't really fond of dogs. So again, not a moral issue. He just doesn't like pets in a home, especially dogs. And so I told him, you know what? First of all, we don't even know, you haven't seen the home yet, right? Don't know the condition of the home. A lot of pet owners, especially those with great qualifications like good credit, good rental history, etc., that we vet obviously ahead of time in order to approve them, they take care of their pets and they make sure their pets take care of their home. So they train them better. This is statistically true. Obviously, there are exceptions, but we want to go by statistics in the majority, the data, right? That's how we are going to make decisions in this business. And so being that this person was well qualified, we are going to assume that most likely their pet is not going to be allowed to just cause unchecked damage and dirtiness throughout the home. Otherwise, we do have a pet deposit, and we've collected a pet fee as well that's non-refundable. The deposit is refundable. And so we do have some money there in case the pets have caused any damage to the property. Okay, so given that, I personally, with my expertise and experience and anecdotal knowledge, do not think that we should ask the tenant to move out, because you will lose a ton of rent during that time. During the vacancy, when you're remodeling, you're spending a lot of money and who knows how many months to remodel this property, during which you will not be receiving any rent. You will have to incur all the holding costs. You will pay the utilities. You will pay for changing of the AC filters, the thermostat batteries, the smoke alarm batteries, and all the general regular maintenance that a tenant is ordinarily responsible for. Pest control, okay? Rekeying and changing of locks, for example, or just painting the home due to normal wear and tear, just general like touch-up cleaning, even if the tenants were to have taken care of the cleaning and didn't cause a lot of damage, you cannot deduct from their deposit for these type of normal wear and tear little maintenance issues. And so therefore, those are going to be costs, again, to you, the landlord, if you bought this property. So my advice was, don't kick the tenant out. Let him continue to live there. He actually intends to continue renting there for several more years. And there's a specific reason he's given that keeps his job nearby. And in fact, he owns his own business. So he intends to stay there for several more years. That is rent right there. And because he's been paying for several years already, chances are he'll continue to pay. Obviously, again, we know there's always exceptions, but let's look at the statistics. That's how we're going to make our decision. And so being that the dog's already there, okay, typically, most times I see that if a dog has caused damage, they're not going to damage the entire house, right? They might have a baseboard or a favorite blind on the window that they like to chew, and they're just going to keep chewing that. So if you need to replace that baseboard, whether it's partially damaged or fully damaged, it's the same thing. It's the same cost. You're still going to replace a baseboard. You're still going to replace that blinds, the window blinds, all right? Whether they've chewed up one slat, two slats, how much of that slat have they chewed up? You can't fix a slat. You'll just have to replace it. So the moral of the story is, let that tenant continue to live there, collect that rent for several years. And when the tenant eventually wants to move out, okay, or if they stop paying rent and you need to evict them at that time, but most likely the tenant's going to be fine. And for whatever reason, if he wants to move out, then you let him move out at that time, then you reassess and do the remodeling at that time. Especially right now, the updated homes, as I ran a comparative market analysis to show the potential investor, the updated homes in that community are not actually renting for that much more than what we are already charging this current tenant, okay? And so, and this home is already updated. It could just be updated a little bit more. And you don't want to over update it where then it goes beyond what that community is having and seeing. And so then people are not even willing to pay that much more because now you're just pricing yourself out of that particular community's market, okay? And so you would have to, if you spent several $1,000s on remodeling, you would take several years or more to recoup that cost in the form of higher rent. It's starting to rain on me. And so I'm going to start walking under the cover while I finish this video. So let me grab my purse. The point is that if you go ahead and wait till the tenant moves out before you remodel, then you would have collected several more years of rent without spending that money. And then you can remodel it later to try to lease out to someone else. And then you will be remodeling it according to the trend that is relevant at that time in the future. Okay, so does this all make sense? If you have any questions, feel free to comment or message me. If you're looking for real estate representation to help you find an investment property or sell your home, we can certainly talk about that to see if we are a good fit for you. I thank you for watching Smarter Real Estate Weekly on Wednesdays, and I hope you will tune in on YouTube. I also link it from LinkedIn and Facebook. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week.